Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tash Teaches. I'm Tash, and in today's video I thought that we could build a sort of tape emulator using the effects grid, seeing as there are so many plugins that cost anywhere from $40 to $100 that really all they're doing is adding a little bit of pitch wobble, a bit of noise, and a bit of, should we say, input drive. So in the interest of trying to keep everything fully Bitwig, why don't we jump in and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to go ahead and play just quickly what I've got here. I've just got some chords that I'm running easy keys into Keyscape. So here's some nice piano. Really beautiful. It is a Saturday morning here in Costa Rica and I thought these chords quite deliciously sum up how the land feels. So I'm going to go ahead and add an effects grid. And I'm just going to delete this. What I want to do is to take the input signal coming into here, do a bunch of stuff in the middle, and have it come out sounding as though this has been recorded or at least played through a tape machine. Some of the things that make up the tape sound are, of course, that there's a little bit of noisy hiss, but we also have some subtle pitch wobbles and a little bit of input drive. We could take this super far, and I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that actually understand the specifics of what makes a tape player sound like a tape player, but let's keep this relatively simple because I have to go somewhere, and I thought it could be kind of fun to see if we could do this in, say, 15 to 20 minutes. So I think that the most important thing from my perspective of why I would add a tape emulator is the subtle pitch change. And to make it real simple, I'm just going to take a delay module and I'm going to put it in the middle here. And if I were to wiggle this in real time, we have a truly horrible sound, but this is the basis of what gives that tape sound. It's like subtle fluctuations in the, I guess, tape head going back and forth. I'm going to set this to about 20 milliseconds to begin with. And now I would like to take, I'm going to try and keep it as well as integrated fully into this one device as possible. You could use the LFOs that are in here, but I tend to actually prefer using modulators outside just because it gives me a little bit easier control, should we say. And actually I'm not going to use a regular LFO, I'm going to use a random, and I'm going to set this to smooth, and then I might put this to about 0.5 hertz. And if I were to now map this to this delay module, you'll see we're already having that characteristic deliciousness coming through. And I'm actually going to set this to a little bit more than I would because I want to be able to scale this up and down. And sometimes on a drum patch or something, you may be able to get away with a little bit more pitch modulation than you would on keys. So let's try this out. I'm also going to make it bipolar. This is going to be way too much. And let's call this wow as well, because when you have these pitch modulation, a lot of these plugins, they'll have two types of pitch modulation. Wow, which is a slower move, and then you have flutter, which is a lot faster. So I'm just going to duplicate this down. And for the flutter, I'm going to put this to, say, 10 hertz. And this is also going to be modulating this device, let's say, by 1. Of course, this is max. This is going to sound way too much. Awful. And in fact, let's actually put this not to 0.1, but we'll put this to 0.05. What have we set this to? Let's put the wow to also 0.05. Okay, so this is now way too much. Let's rename this to flutter. And I'm going to take a macro knob, and we're going to use this macro here. In fact, why don't we just skip the macro entirely, and I'm going to go here and do add new page, and I'm going to map this to the amount. So this is wow, and then down here we're going to map this amount to flutter. So now at least I have control over the amount. So if I bring this all the way down to nothing, we have a far smaller amount. Although I don't really want to have so much, I don't want to be able to go all the way up here with this pitch, so I may actually use a macro for this, just to be able to scale down the amount of automation we want. So I'm actually going to take this, maybe bring this down by, I don't know, 5. Let's see, and we'll make this bipolar as well. So this is now, oh, we need to go the other way actually, so 5. Is it going the right way? Maybe -5. There we go. So now if I go this way, it makes it faster. This makes it slower. If we bring the wow up, map. Cool, nice. Actually, let's stop this from being no, bipolar's fine. So here, let us just map now this rate here. So this is faster and this is slower, quite obviously. I'm just going to take another macro and we'll do the same thing for flutter. So this is obviously way too much. Let's put it on bipolar. And I think with this, we'll go up also, oh no, we'll go up 3. Can we go up anymore? We'll go up, in this case, let's have a look, 3. Way too much, so we'll call that that. This is the wow rate. And then this is the F rate. Very nice. Now, of course, we dial these down. We're now starting to get a slightly smoother sound, should we say. Cool. One of the other things that I quite like about a tape player is, of course, the noise. I'm actually just going to take a white noise device here, and we're going to make this very, very simple. Let's take a mixer. We're going to patch this into the output. And I'm actually going to just turn this off for a second because I don't want to hear this noise up max. Let's bring the volume down again. Now we don't hear it. But if we take a macro now, let's also just name these so that we're being smart about this. This is W rate. This is, for some reason it's not changing, F rate. There we go, F rate. And this is W rate. Okay, this will be our noise. And we're going to map this so that we don't need too much of it. That's our max. There we go. So let's take this, map this to there. This is our noise. Maybe we can put this in the corner. One thing that I find as well is that there seems to be some sort of like band passing as well. So why don't we take perhaps the state variable filter? I'm not sure which one works best for this, but it seems to sound quite good around somewhere between 5 and 8K. So let's put this to like 6K band pass. We don't need clearly that much resonance. One thing that's important as well is if you're going to be playing this instrument, you don't really want for the MIDI that you're playing to be affecting any of the filters. The tape player isn't going to change positioning of the filter. So let's turn this all the way off. And now we can see a little bit of wow. Turn this off. Very nice. Okay, we might also want to add a little bit of distortion. So I'm going to go here to Shaper, and we could use, I think, Heat is pretty nice. This is a kind of a smooth one. I think if we look at what it actually says, this is an S-shaped clipper, start soft. So this softness, I think, will be quite nice for introducing lovely. But as we go up in volume, let's see actually, this is coming in at minus 32.3. If we were to bring this up 10 dBs, does it make it now 22.3? Yeah, pretty much. So what we'd also probably like to do is to make it so that when we drive it, we're not necessarily having to then turn it right down again. So I'm going to take a gain dB, and I'm going to bring this back down again. And now let's take another macro, and we'll call this macro drive. And I'm going to put this to max. And as I put that to max, let's put this up to maybe we want to be able to go up, say 20 dBs of drive to really drive it. And then we'll bring this down. And let's go to the max. So minus 24 here means we bring it up 24 there as well. So now we have this one knob here that if we map that to that, we have a drive knob that as it drives it more, it turns it down. Let's see if the volume is actually corresponding, 34.4. 32.4. Maybe we actually want to make this come down a tiny bit less than it was. So we'll say it goes down 22. Lovely. Just very quickly recording a video. Okay, now that we've got that drive, we've got this here. Another thing on a tape machine is that we often have a little bit of a low end boost around, I don't know, 80-ish hertz. So let's go back to filter here, and I'm going to use, let's use the state variable. No, let's just use the low pass ladder here. And after the heat, I'm going to take a, no, we're not going to use a low pass. We'll use the state variable filter again. I'm going to set this to high pass and put this to 80 hertz. Oh, no, 80. There we go. And if I start to increase this too much, now we get this real big boom. And we don't need too much of that, but a little bit of that, maybe like 70-ish percent, 80% there. You can see that's adding a really nice round low end. And if we put an oscilloscope on, you can actually see in theory, let's take the oscilloscope here. You can see, maybe we need to actually increase the gain of this. Let's put it to fast. How strange that we're not actually seeing it. Oh, I suppose I need to turn off these guys. Maybe it's just the signal's so quiet. But whatever, it's actually adding in a nice little bit of low end there. One other thing that's quite nice is then also having, perhaps we'll leave the noise till the end, is having a bit of what we call crosstalk, which is where the left signal interferes a little bit with the right and they blend. The way that I'm going to do that is by taking a stereo split out of here. Now right now it doesn't sound good because it's now gone mono again, but what I'd like to do is now take a stereo merge as well, and we're going to take the output of that into here, and we're going to take left into left, obviously, and right into right. Now we're back to having it exactly as it was before, but I'm going to take a blend, and we'll just chuck this up here, and then we'll do another blend down here, and we shall use that to go into there. And I'm going to blend the left signal with the right signal. So mainly here, we're getting just the left, whatever I'm saying, I'm confusing myself now, but we're going to take the blue into there. So on either side, we're now going to actually get, if I start to wangle this up a little bit, we're getting this kind of strange mono-ish sound. You can see that if I now turn this off, and I don't want too much of that, because I actually do want the left to feel like left, but the right to feel like right. But I'm also just going to take ever so slightly another random device here, put it to smooth, and put this to something like, I don't know, 0.25. I'm just going to ever so slightly wobble this. We'll call this, let's see, we'll call this cross left, and let's duplicate this, and we'll call this cross right. The point of, not cross dollar sign, cross right. And the point of this is just to ever so slightly alter the blending of the left and the right signal here. Let's just put this nice and tight together. Now what else? Another thing that we sometimes get as well is just like random volume dips. So just to make this easier so that we actually understand what this is, I'm going to put here, this is our, with a little label, this is our drive, this is our bass boost. Very nice. Could actually be kind of fun to split it in a left and right here as well. So actually let's just take a stereo split before we do this. And I'm going to duplicate that down, and we'll have the right. I don't know if this actually is something that happens on a tape machine, but having a slightly different randomness on the left and the right. So I guess this was going 0.05 there. I'm actually just going to move these guys across a little bit so that I can have a different, let's move it back over there. Let's just copy and paste. I think if you press Option and drag, you can just duplicate these down. So we'll call this Flutter R, and this is Wow R, this is Flutter L, and this is Wow L. And what's this set to? This is doing, okay, so now we actually want to get rid of this. We're going to map this to that, and also this. Oh wait, wrong one. What am I doing? Let's undo that. This is going to go to the right side. What did I actually have this set to? 0.05. So we'll do 0.05 on here, and the wow, we'll map that also to the pitch and set this to 0.05. Make sure that this isn't affecting the other one. This is affecting just the left and the right there. But I want these rates, in theory, to still be modulating the others. So what's that? Times 3. We'll do here also 3, and then this wow rate is currently to 5. So we'll do the same thing here. We'll say times 5. So now this wow rate is controlling the rate of both sides, although they are random and independent of one another. So now we also probably will need to now have a macro. I should have done this earlier. And these macros will be the amount, because I can't have one button here control multiple things. So let's take this amount here. If we open up the flutter on both of these guys, bring them down to nothing, I'm going to use this for flutter. So max amount there, bring this down, all the way to the max, bring it down. So this is wow. Actually, no, this is flutter. I think I've actually given these the wrong name. Yeah, this is going to be wow. You'll have to excuse my madness here, but this is our flutter left, this is our wow, and this is our flutter. Okay, and we're going to call this wow amount, and this is our other macro, which is going to dictate the amount of flutter. So let's open up flutter right as well, boom, and this is our flutter amount. Cool, so now we can map this to the wow amount, this to the flutter amount, and now we can go really crazy, and you see because we've got slightly different effect on the left and the right, it's almost giving us a kind of chorus effect, which can be really, really nice depending on what it is that you're using. Lovely, let's turn it off. Kind of nice. Also, it might be a good idea just to shift this back here. I'm going to move these guys all close to each other. Oh, actually, what am I doing? This is our, we'll call this wobble. This is our, crosstalk. And maybe we should also have a filter here just rolling off the top as well. We'll put maybe just a low pass ladder filter, and we'll set this to say 12 kilohertz, to something smooth, 12-ish, 12 pole. And we'll call this, low pass. We could even put a little bit of resonance, not that much, fuck. This, for some reason, increases or decreases the volume quite a lot. So let's see if we can turn it up. Oh yeah, here's another thing where we actually need to once again turn down the key tracking, because we don't want that. Let's bring down the resonance so it's barely anything. Oh, didn't mean to change the order of that. It's kind of nice. Another thing is this noise. If I take an attenuate knob now, I'm going to put that before here. If we take an envelope follower, so let's take the actual regular old input into the follower. If I were to look with an oscilloscope, what's now coming out of here, it's a bit too quiet. So I'm going to take a gain device and I'm going to crank the signal coming in. This will probably do well to have even another gain in between. And the point of this, if we put this to be fast or slow, is I actually want this to be able to bring down the volume of the noise a bit. So let's take a modulator out, and we're going to use the input of that to turn down the noise. That's like, the noise is only really going to play when it's mad silent. Otherwise it starts to turn it down a bit. I can get rid of that now. Let's just bring this guy down. I'm going to duplicate the label here. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Just duplicate the label here to call this noise. Lovely. So the only other thing I'd love to add to this is potentially some sort of like volume degradation. And we can use this with, say, taking an attenuate out of here before it goes into the crosstalk. I'm going to take another, let's close all this shit up. Let's take another random, I'm going to move it over here just for some space, and we'll call this, I don't know, degrad fast, and we'll also do another one which is degrad slow. And the fast one, I actually want to be pretty choppy, and maybe set this to like, I don't know, I honestly don't know what this would be set to, but let's just bring this down. You'll see that this is now really fucking with the volume. Maybe smooth it a little bit. Now this is obviously way too much, so let's bring that down. Only fucking with the sound a touch. But then this slow one, actually this is the slow one. This should probably be, oh, there we go, 15 for the fast. And then this slow one I'm going to set to be really, really small, like 0.2. And again, this is just going to be dipping the volume every now and then. And you can hear that's just adding in a little bit of messed upness. Bring down the flutter and the wow. And these probably can actually have even a little less on the amount that these guys are affecting it. It's just adding in a little tickly right there, which is just quite nice, I think. So let's compare the volume difference. Really, really lovely. And then what is this? This is, let's just name this here, we'll call this degradation. This is just like the head kind of ruining the sound a bit. Maybe we can even bring the fast down a bit. And if we put this to max, kind of cool. Could also be good to do the same thing where we make this stereo. So let's actually split the signal once again, and we'll just duplicate this down and have the right signal come in. Stereo merge. And then I'm going to duplicate this and duplicate this so that this is not affecting either one of these guys. We'll have a slightly different signal affecting the other side, and then the slow as well. Obviously the amount that we want this wobble to be affecting it, probably a bit more wow than we want flutter. Sounds really, really lovely. And finally, I would just love like a sort of post drive as well. So let's take another shaper, and maybe we can try just distortion. I'm going to put this just before the output. Lovely. And the same thing again, we're going to want to take a gain device so that whatever we turn up, we also turn down. So we'll actually call this, where can I put this so that it's neat? Maybe we'll put noise down here, and we'll say in drive, and then we'll have another macro here. Oh, what have I done? Macro, and this can crank that up. As we go up, say 16 dBs, this also comes down 16 dBs. This is our output drive. So map that to that. This is our out drive. Maybe again we'll go a little bit further. So up 28, this can come down 28. Really, really nice. I'd like a little bit more fuck-uppedness here on the crosstalk. So maybe let's just map this a bit more. Make sure that it's on bipolar. Really lovely. Okay, and so actually what we can now do is just close this up. Let's just put this stuff in a little bit neater of a fashion. We'll put here, call that out drive. And this is our, of course, in drive. And this is just our, we can actually just move this down here. This is our noise signal, just for the sake of keeping this real nice and neat. Let's just do that like that. And then we've got our just delicious little tape machine thingamajig. We can close up all of the macros. We can open up we should close up all of the modulators. And now we have this wonderful device that also, if we play with the mix now, it's going to create a really lovely kind of Let's try this out on something else then. So if I were to take an 808 sensitive, the one with velocity, let's make a silly little pattern here. I'm going to put a, way too loud. This is not. Let's put this so that this only happens on the second. Maybe we can also put some sort of tom potentially. Lovely. Okay, so let's just copy and paste this over onto this channel now, and let's have a little listen. If we dial all of these back down to nothing, So no input drive, no output drive. Of course, this now sounds exactly the same. And let's just drive it in a bit. Bit of output drive. Bit of noise. Bit of wow now. Bit of flutter. Obviously, all of the stereo things that we've done is probably not ideal for this to be actually for drums. Maybe a better idea to make something where this is only affecting, if we take the, what's it called? Multi-band effects 2, and we'll just put this on the high, and we'll split it. That's it, that's definitely messing it up. And actually, it would be really nice as well just to have at the end here, because this is an effects rack, we're just going to take another gain, and we can use this gain to be our overall volume control. So let's put it as a band pass, and I'm going to make this be able to go up, say like 10 dB, and this is going to be attached to there. This is just output gain. Compare the difference. Maybe we can make the piano a little bit louder as well. We can just turn it up a bit, see how it affects the noise more. A little less drive perhaps, but a bit more noise. I didn't actually add it to that one, so let's just turn it up here. And let's just map something so that we can turn them both on and off. We'll turn it off with that and this. So here we go. Kind of like, I suppose, just vanilla, computery sounding. Really lovely, super subtle. And of course you can go really wild with this. You can add in all sorts of delays to add, oh, that could be kind of fun, to add a tape delay to it as well, to have like an extra head. But for now I think that's actually pretty nice. So I'm going to wrap this up. If you want to download this plugin, or this preset should we say, I'm actually going to be in my Bitwig Grid 101 course that many of you have already taken. If you own the Bitwig 101 course, check your emails, because I've just invited you to a school community that is the lifetime access to the Bitwig Grid 101 course. So you can actually see it here. You can access the course in the same way as you have been, except the fun is that now every single one of these actually has a comment below it as well. So a bunch of people have already arrived, and what's nice is it now means that we can actually comment and discuss specific parts of that. I'm going to be adding into the classroom, maybe we'll call it Bitwig Grid 102, and I'm going to be making more of these videos again and chucking them all inside here, as well as offering the presets or the project files for you to be able to play around with. If you don't own Bitwig Grid 101, then feel free to head over to the link in the description down below, and you'll see that I have put it on a 25% discount for this first week. It's usually $99, and I put it up for $75. It's a 9-hour course, 46 videos, and a hell of a lot of fun now that there's plenty of people to hang out with and talk about it. But thank you very much, wishing you all the best, and happy Saturday, and happy creating.